Hey guys, Boba Fatty here once again with another Sith Raid video trying to play around and practice in Heroic, and I wanted to show a run if I could, but bare minimum what I do at the very beginning, assuming you have your speeds worked out so that you can get BB-8 to go first obviously, and then tweaked so that when he uses his covert data transfer, it boosts Rey just past R2 so that she goes second. That's what you want. You want to just hit these three moves: R2 or BB-8's covert data transfer. Then you want to try to get that speed down from Rey if you can. I'll hit R2's AoE just to see what I get each time. The best situation basically is you have to get the expose on Nihilus, otherwise you will not be removing any of his turn meter with the next bunch of moves. So, but the best situation you can come up with is for Nihilus to have the expose, and if possible, both ads to have nothing, but bare minimum for both ads to have no expose, so that you can hit them as many times as possible without actually killing them in order to get as close to Illuminated Destiny as you can before he takes his first turn or shortly thereafter. I find that a lot of the times I'm able to get it done before his first move, but sometimes I'll try going forward with a run even if I don't get it, just to see how it goes. So we got the speed down. Let's get an expose. No. You see this? You absolutely don't want it. It's garbage. You have to get the expose on Nihilus, so this is a little more awkward on my computer. Normally with the touchscreen on a tablet, I'm sitting there, just tap, 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 tap. I haven't used my computer in a while, so I'm a little rusty, but got the speed down. Okay, well, so we got an expose on him and we got one. So I'll give this a try and see what I can do. You basically want to use RJT's assist move with R2, and it's best to do it on the assassin, I believe, just specifically so that she doesn't get a turn and can't go stealth and screw things up. But you use R2 because he does the least amount of damage and hopefully will leave her alive. I'm finding that half of the time, especially if I already had an expose, I know I've got less hits. I've toyed with trying to actually shoot at Nihilus with the trooper at the beginning here. Let's try it and see what happens. Because it's just a single shot, it's definitely giving him... Oh, he does... I didn't get the expose back, so that kills it right there. If you shoot at him, you have to get an expose back from the trooper or it doesn't work, so... Wasn't the perfect start anyway. Let's try a couple more times here quick. There's all this to do at the beginning to try to get yourself set up on the first, at the first couple moves and hopefully get not that. Get that just expose on Nihilus, and then once you've finally successfully done that, then any one of 1,000 other things can go wrong from there on out, so... Got the speed down, give me an expose! Alright, we got the same thing again, let's try it. You want to use Gav Ray's first special, the first shot, and this is a good opportunity where she wasn't hitting an expose at least, so that she wasn't gonna do some major damage. So let's try actually using Trooper. Good thing that he didn't get an expose there. We'll do the Ray with R2 and get the kill. So each time we're using a special move under Ray, because Nihilus has an expose, we're removing turn meter. Haven't hit him yet, so we haven't stacked speed on him. So I was just saying a minute ago, and especially further in when there's other moves coming up, Rey is going to have her basic she'll have to use, and you don't want to use that on Nihilus and get down. So I've toyed around with different ways that I've tried to. I think I'll be okay because what you need to do is use her basic on one of the ads and use Rey's triple move on one of the ads if possible. I think if I shoot with Trooper, I believe if I'm not mistaken, at least part of it is that his own, either the move or his unique, I think it's the move specifically, as long as you're shooting at an enemy with any debuffs, well, I guess I could look. Ability is reduced by 2 if the target is suffering any negative status effect. So, that basically makes it so that with the other cooldown reduction going on, you're able to use that move every turn as long as there's a debuff out there that you're shooting at. Doesn't have to be an expose was my main point. So here we get to use, the problem is you could use this on Nihilus and start getting damage. We haven't even done anything to his protection yet, but this move is actually multiple hits and will fill his turn meter most of the rest of the way up. So you want to be using a special absolutely every time you can to continually be reducing the cooldown of Illuminated Destiny. So triple that, and here it's the same thing. You're going to have to start doing damage to Nihilus obviously, so you want to be using specials. We've been lucky getting, well that's I guess the first one. Got an exposed. So we were able to get Illuminated Destiny before his first turn. And that's quite possibly all downhill from here. Let's see, I'll try to explain the way that I go about it, but I can say that I've had to do dozens and dozens and dozens of long, getting started and then going through a good run just to have something go terribly wrong. And my max that I've gotten is 11.5%. Maybe 2 other times I got 10 something and the rest were just somebody died with, 8 turns to enrage or whatever. So we'll try to get into this and see what we can do. Generally, otherwise, you want to almost always call BB-8 with the assist move from Ray just because of the extra attacks. And the only time you would stray from that is if you need to, it applies an or a foresight to somebody, so you can choose to use R2 usually. R2 and BB-8 seem to me to be the hardest to keep alive. The other ones do big enough damage that, their health steal can fill them up reasonably, but these two guys just have a hard time, so the ball rolling here. So, you start getting defense downs, and I want to get the Zeta on Ray that gives her a 40% chance of debuffing or cleansing herself when she gets a debuff, because I have to deal with her getting defense down all the time. So basically, whenever Drain Force is ready, you got to be looking at, oh, how is everybody? Who's got Foresight? Who doesn't? So, it's sometimes kind of hard to get it to actually work the way you want with Foresights, especially on BB-8, because he goes so fast and so often that you get a Foresight on him at just the right time, and then he goes 2 more times and it's gone by the time you need it. So his turn meter's up there pretty far. BB-8 is about to go again. But let's push our luck, and what we'll do is we'll actually use the stealth and hit R2 so that he's got a Foresight now. BB-8's still got his. Keep using specials wherever you can, but then obviously when you can't, use a basic. Alright, so R2 taking damage. Just keep plugging along using specials. There's not a whole lot to it other than figuring out, when to use Unbreakable Wills, how to look at the Foresight moves and whatnot. So any chance you get to use this ability for Ray when at the beginning of one of Nihilus's turns where he hasn't taken damage yet, definitely the only possibility that you'll land another speed down. Moving. And you're hoping for them exposes like every time if you can. Just gonna call BB-8. BB-8's second less recommendable Zeta heals health for droids whenever he evades. So I have that, and it is actually kind of nice, and you can see it helping somewhat, mostly with himself, I find. Instances where Nihilus goes after him, and it's mainly when he gets that third attack, and he's already had to attack BB-8 twice because he's the only one that's not stealth. He maybe missed the first one, but then he'll hit the second one, and if he already was missing some health, he'll be in danger, but he has a chance every time he takes damage to get Foresight, and it's those times where Nihilus gets that third attack, and he's got the Foresight back again, and he tries to hit him, that you actually see, oh, that was good that he got that third hit because he actually healed BB-8. So it can work with R2 also. So same thing again, we got Drain Force, so we're going to give R2 Foresight. It's early, but I maybe should have waited there actually, but I want to be using special moves and avoiding basics period, so to remove a little turn meter. That's what I love to see, those few instances where Rei has to use her basic but doesn't get the defense down. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm thankful every time it does. So thankfully he didn't go after R2, and he should have healed R2 just a little bit when he just missed BB-8, but... So we're already working on, looks like Illuminated Destiny number 3, and we've got Annihilate coming up. So here's where you need to look basically at your turn meters and his turn meter and what moves you've got available. You know, we're not going to be able to remove any turn meter with RJT anytime soon, so the choices are hit it for RJT or hit it for Scavenger Ray, hopefully, before he gets turned. So we more than likely will definitely get to Scavenger Ray's turn. And it's a toss-up between, I like to put the Unbreakable Wills on Ray or Scavenger Ray. Scavenger Ray is probably the best just because she doesn't have a lot of turn meter gain possibility, so kind of goes at her own speed anyway, so in the time that you use an Unbreakable Will on someone like RJT or Trooper or BB-8 that gets tons of turns, you know, she's still only going to go once or twice probably during that Unbreakable Will, so she's a good option. So let's maybe try to plan for that, and we'll go with BB-8 to thankfully remove all those buffs even when Rey doesn't have her move Trooper's special. Just continually cleanses those buffs off of. So let's see. He's gonna, if he gets a third attack, another thing you have to think about at any time is what will happen if he gets a third attack. He's going to Annihilate. Whenever Annihilate is there, it will be used next, basically. So, if he uses Annihilate, whoever you hit Unbreakable Will on, then you have to think about what buffs do they have on them. If they have a Foresight, I want to say they will still have that Foresight after the Annihilate. I'm not positive. I don't know why I think I've seen that instance happen. Try to move towards it. What I'm trying to decide here is, do I give R2 another Foresight? It will draw Nihilus's attention to him, but if you're about to hit an Unbreakable Will, then it doesn't matter if he's only got basics. What I'm trying to figure out is, if he doesn't Annihilate, and then maybe I'm wrong, and if the Foresight is gone, then he's going to dispel all these buffs and reduce cooldowns, and then you have to think about, is this low enough that he could actually get to that Drain Force next? And I don't believe he could in this instance, so I'm going to give it to R2 anyway. See how it goes. I'm going to hit Unbreakable Will on Scavenger Ray, and then I'm not positive about this. It seems like, you know, once you've hit Unbreakable Will, you kind of want as much, especially with Ray being there, you want as much to happen with everybody else as you can manage. So I would hit an Illuminated Destiny, even though one of them is not going to gain any turn meter from it. We're just pumping him up with speed so he can do his Annihilate. So, okay, so yeah, unless guy wasn't looking at her, unless she got a Foresight back, he Annihilated, then he missed, and then he took a third attack, got all those buffs, and got his Drain Force reduced so that he's using it next. So, we'll remove all these and hopefully get a speed down. Of course not. Keep on using them specials. Got another one of these. Here you kind of have to think about, like, is Rey gonna get to her turn before this Drain Force? I believe you can get a Foresight from her basic, so you can consider that if it turns out that she ends up getting her turn right before Nihilus is gonna go, use a basic, even though she's gonna get defense down, she'll get a Foresight at least in order to survive this Drain Force. So maybe I should just I don't want to Leave her hanging there. I'm gonna put it on BB-8. So she used her basic there to assist and didn't, of course, get a foresight. But she kept the unbreakable will, survived the drain force. Alright. So, here's where you have to think. He doesn't have an expose, so shooting adds and using specials isn't going to reduce his turn meter at all. I'm actually going to take a shot at him to try to get an expose there. Perfect. And I'm going to use R2's basic to not only stun the assassin, but hopefully you can do, well, maybe not. When there's 3 people out there, you can probably get more health steal from using his AoE. Yeah, I'll try that. Hoping to get an expose back on Nihilus? Of course not. Probably always a good idea to try to move, especially the one with Unbreakable Will, but also the assassin towards death. Try to... Maybe we can at least get a speed down on him. Of course not. I'm gonna try again for an expose. Not going well. Well, a little stretch like this and characters at 10 turns to enrage being in the red with, leaving yourself in a precarious situation. You can always recover from this, but you can always also lose the character next turn. So, what am I doing here? Let's hope that this ping pong ends with, of course not. I just cannot end with an expose on him. There we go. Try to get a little more. What I was going to say earlier is his basic does a lot more damage, R2, so if you can use a basic when he's low on health, you'll get more health action. So once there are adds back, you can definitely look at them as a way to reduce Nihilus's turn meter, assuming he has an expose. That's us kind of babbling when I couldn't get an expose back on him. That's why I wanted to do that, was to just be able to get some cooling down of Illuminated Destiny to happen, further into the run by using the adds. Let's see, you have to kind of think about who's got what moves ready. Like if Ray has nothing but her basic left and I shoot this ad and he's gone, that means I have to use Ray's basic. So what the heck, I'm going to take a chance, try to get another expose. We did, and she does. I only have her basic. So that's good. And coming up. It's always good to just continually be looking at your own tune's turn meter so you have a good feel for who all might get another turn before Nihilus is going to get to go. It's nice when he's got both of these moves, pretty further away from cooldown. A lot of times where he wants to go after Ray and BB-8, and they've usually got foresights on them, so let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and he's the biggest damage dealer for me. I'm going to just keep doing damage. Of course, just loses the expose. I cannot believe, I guess Ray missed? Did she miss that? Is that how she was able to actually land a speed down? That kind of blew my mind. Go ahead and use special. Another Illuminated Destiny. We'll do a mollywop, what the heck. Specials. Have Drain Force coming up. I'm gonna miss. 2 swings and 2 misses, and you can see that that landed R2 back in the green from him missing BB-8 twice, which is always nice. So, love this too, when you get to dispel with Ray instead of Trooper and possibly re-land that speed down, maybe even on an offense down, which definitely makes a difference. So we got Annihilate and Drain Force coming up. So here's another thing that when you get in that situation, you got to not only think about getting an unbreakable will at the right time, but having anyone who's in trouble possibly have foresight if you possibly can. So let's see here. Plug away. BB-8's about to go. Every time he uses covert data transfer, I can't think of exactly how much it is, but it seems like I should be able to get Jedi Training Ray to go again. I'm gonna take a chance. I hoped she wouldn't get that defense down that time, of course, but she did. So now, should I use it for R2, or is there a chance that Ray will get to go? I think she will. He's got speed down. So, get a tiny bit more health, maybe another expose, yay! And there, you can see that just went from boop, 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 boop. So, thinks to use Unbreakable Will on Jedi Training Ray as far as her being out of commission for that amount of time, but this is always a good situation too when you get to use Scavenger Ray's big hit when he's already got full turn meter, because that means you're not giving him a bunch of extra turn meter that he wouldn't have had otherwise. Alright, so we got the Annihilate coming up on Ray, and then a Drain Force immediately after that, so Ray's looking good as far as health. We basically need R2 to survive, so we'll give R2 the foresight. Now, here's a stinker. I was saying earlier that I like to, once somebody's in Unbreakable Will, use an Illuminated Destiny if it comes up, because you can have as much happen before it as possible, but I have a feeling that he's gonna go real soon, no matter what. So, I might save this, actually, and possibly hit it right after Ray comes out of Unbreakable Will. And as far as I'm concerned, he gets 3 turns enough usually that I'm like relieved and like super happy when I see that he only gets 2 turns. A couple instances where it can actually help you, but on going. And let's see, this won't give Ray turn meter, but hit it anyway to get everybody else rolling. Alright, so he has an expose, so here's where you can look at the ads like let's reduce his turn meter by shooting at the ads. I want to heal her as much as possible, so the assist move, I hate to use it on an ad when I could be doing that damage to Nihilus, but it might be worth to the assassin. I was hoping maybe she would get the extra assist to get a little more health, but no dice. Alright, so we get an expose on that guy, 2 exposes. Continuing to reduce Nihilus's turn meter. And I want to keep doing that actually, especially when someone's in trouble, just because the more you can reduce his turn meter and not damage him and stack speed on him, the more chances you can continue to do, attacks that will get health back and whatnot. So here I am going to use a special that will damage him though. That's unfortunate, but I'm going to do. At least able to remove the turn meter. Do a tiny bit of healing. Another Illuminated Destiny. Let Ray get the assist. Give it to her. Darn it. Alright. Go for usual. Love getting back to this. All green and special moves off a cooldown. Yay! A bit of a heal from BB-8. Alright, so we're down to 5 turns to enrage, which usually is the part, by now at least, where I would have gone into airplane mode. I was starting at 95.4%. So what have I done? Like bring 7%. So bare minimum, I'll just continue this run, see how far I can get. Fairly wrong. Let me actually. That actually works properly. But I might all the way turn it off. It's off. All right. So we'll continue along to get rid of the defense downs. Get a turn meter removal. And we got a drain force, so BB-8 will probably get to go again, but I have to hope that he'll either still have this foresight or get another one somehow. So I'm going to put this on R2. Plugging away. Nope, BB-8 lost his. So he's going to be in trouble. Oh! Alright, well, didn't lose anyone at least, but not anywhere near as far damage-wise as I've been in the past, so it wasn't necessarily a great run. There was plenty of things that went wrong. Alright, what did I do? He's got Annihilate coming up in one turn. So you basically have to think about what are the chances of him hitting someone with Foresight. Right now there's 2 tunes with Foresight. Ray will get another turn. Has to use a basic next, so if he hits someone with Foresight, he would need to get the 3 turns to actually cool down Annihilate and be able to use it on his next turn. Or he would just have to hit somebody that doesn't have Foresight on his next turn. See if we can luck into... Oh yeah, R2 getting another. He does! So we should hopefully be able to... Well, this is basically a gamble. We put this on R2, and Nihilus goes for him next. Same thing, when you figure something out that you want to play his turns and whatnot, and then Illuminated Destiny comes up, and you're like, well, is it going to completely screw up what I just got worked out? Is it better? It's probably better to do more damage before he ends up getting a turn, if you can, which would mean using it now, getting everybody more turns. But the more you damage him, the more you're stacking speed, so that this is going to fill up rather quickly. Let's see. What the heck? Just to try to force the issue, do as much damage as I can. Hopefully R2 should still have this Foresight after that turns. Swings and misses! So he did get the 3 turns, but he picked 3 different characters, which doesn't happen very often, actually. So that went well. So we're definitely going to use his special. Remove some turn meter. Let's see here. Annihilate is eminent. I prefer to have it on Ray just for the fact that she can heal herself so much better, but at the same time we're 3 turns to enrage, so possibly better to have it on him since he's not doing damage. He does have the capacity to give Foresights though, which the other 2 characters that don't currently have it would hopefully survive and be alright. Whenever there's this thing, to call back the minions, he's probably going to annihilate, then call minions, and then drain force on his third turn, more than likely. My experience, so I'm going to use the Unbreakable Will, play it a little safe. Bing bang boom. Annihilate. Call the minions. Drain force. Bing bang boom. Alright, we made it through. Let's see if we can get a speed down on him for a last little push here. Definitely try to get rid of the one that's got... Perfect. Remove some turn meter. More. When you're down here, you want to do damage, damage, damage. Right now, I'm at nearing 10%. 85.4 would be 10%. So, really like to push the damage. Give up that move. That's a bunch of damage. Let's see exactly. I'm just gonna do it, and how much damage is it? I would have up 0.79 to, yeah, that's like nearly 0.2 from that one move. Go this route. Get R2 a scrap of health. Oh, he's not got Unbreakable Will. It was hidden under all of her buffs. Darn it. Well, got BB-8's coming up. R2 will be coming up. He doesn't have Drain Force coming at least. Do damage. Hit that with R2. Don't attack him again. No. Alright, fine. 85.5. We're not even to 10% yet. So. I will use Illuminated Destiny. This end bit here, dealing with Enrage coming up and whatnot, is definitely I have the least practice with, because I've only made it this far with a good run that I actually kept, what, 6 times? Maybe 8 or 10 times at the most. So there's things you can work out that can make or break your run. Get an extra, who knows, another % possibly, or 2, just by making it a couple characters past Enrage and whatnot. I have to keep going. I'm babbling in order to delay the inevitable horrible ending. So we can get an foresight on. He targets Ray and BB-8. It's a couple of whiffs. No, of course not. And he gets a third turn. Alright, so we ended up getting to 84.86, which is, what, maybe 10.6% or something. He's going to annihilate her next, and she's just going to do a little scratch, 0.01 at the most, so I'll probably end up just retreating so that I can try to actually maximize this and get a better run to post for the actual raid. So anyway, that is roughly some of the things that I think about. I apologize if there's things in there that even still now, with as much as I feel like I know, I really still don't know. It's hard to make all the right decisions all the way through, so you have to try to have fun with it. Just the more you recognize the things that are just not going right and just decide early, you know, no, this isn't going well, I need to just restart, the better, because you won't get as aggravated because you go to like 7 turns to Enrage, which takes 10-15 minutes or something. Instead, you're playing for 5 minutes and deciding, oh, enough things have gone wrong that I should probably just restart this. And it literally is worth restarting over and over and over. That first bit at the beginning, use those 3 moves real quick. And you know, if you don't get, I'm pretty sure that at the beginning of this, I didn't even have the most desirable. I might have had a speed down and an expose, but I had an expose on an ad and whatnot. And those little things, if you just bang, 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 retry, you know, several times, sometimes 12, 16 times, but it's only taken 20 seconds to just hit those 3 moves real quick. see if you can get the best case scenario, and then if you do, look at that as the one time that you've, gone in and you're actually trying now. Something might go terribly wrong 1 minute later. Just try to shrug it off and think, I could do better. Just got to go back, do another dozen little restarts at the beginning, try again. So anyway, best of luck, guys. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So do what you can, and I'll see you in the galaxy of heroes.